It seems only yesterday that there was a problem in the Edinburgh Fringe when Graham Lineham's uh, show was, it seems, censored. It's a case study in cultural tension between free speech comedy and contemporary identity politics. Once this was a person revered as the co creator of Father Ted, the It Crowd, and Black Books. He's now in recent years become a divisive figure, not because of his artistic work, but because of his forthright opposition to aspects of the trans rights movement, particularly in relation to single sex spaces and the definition of womanhood. He's repeatedly defended what he terms biological material reality, arguing that spaces reserved for women should exclude trans women, and he's expressed concern about the erosion of terms like women and mother, which he views as a cultural and linguistic crisis. These views have placed him in direct opposition to many trans rights advocates. Lynham's social media activity, especially on Twitter, has become increasingly confrontational. He was permanently banned from the platform for what he uh, for what was called targeted harassment, though his account's now since been restored since the takeover by um, Thingamy, whatever it is, Musk. These online spats have damaged his public persona, alienated former colleagues. As a consequence of his activism, his long gestating Father Ted musical has been shelved, reportedly because of a production company discomfort with being associated with him. And venues have pulled out of hosting his shows, and he's been described as preemptive cultural vandalism. And Lynham has since performed at Comedy Unleashed, a platform co-founded by Andrew Doyle, who championed so-called cancelled comedians. But even that's not enough. There's now a split in the comedy world. Doyle and others claim comedy must maintain the freedom to offend in order to remain relevant and subversive. Meanwhile, other organisers, such as James Ross of Quantum Leopard, argue that performers blaming wokeness for poor reception are using it as a cover for weak material, noting that inclusive spaces can still generate strong comedy without punching down. Um, so the so this is this is the broad problem, and now the new issue is a trial, and this this person, this BAFTA award winning writer, is now accused of harassing an 18-year-old transgender activist, Sophia Brooks, and smashing her phone at a public event. On the face of it, this could be dismissed as just another celebrity embroiled in controversy, but this story is anything but routine. It involves gender, identity, freedom of speech, the role of comedy in public discourse, and the ever thinning line between activism and abuse. And this took place at the Battle of Ideas conference in London last October, a gathering explicitly designed for controversial, sometimes combustible debate. It was there the prosecutors alleged that Lynham not only made disparaging remarks about Sophia Brooks, but also damaged her phone, a crime valued at £369, apparently. He's pleaded not guilty to both the harassment and the criminal damage. At Westminster Magistrates Court yesterday, he appeared calm, suited, and as defiant as ever. He uttered the words "not guilty" and emerged afterwards, not in sombre contrition, but in a T-shirt brandishing the Daily Telegraph's notorious headline, "Trans women are not women." And outside, he addressed a crowd of supporters, too numerous to be cramped into the court gallery. For 6 years, he said, I've defended the rights of women and children against a dangerous ideology. I've lost a great deal, but I will not waver in my resolve. This wasn't merely a legal defence, it was a manifesto, a declaration that the criticism of trans rights activism is, in his view, a noble cause, and that the law is being weaponised to silence dissent. The trial won't be solely about a broken phone, though. It's for all for all the talk and bluster. It's a proxy war. On the one side, a man who believes he's defending biological truth and women's rights, and on the other, a teenager who says she was targeted and vilified online by a powerful public figure. And Lynham's defenders portray him as a free speech martyr, a casualty of the culture war who sacrificed his career to speak what he calls an unfashionable truth. Does that involve destroying somebody's phone? His critics, however, accuse him of punching down, of using the platform to provoke, harass, and stigmatize. And this trial, therefore, is emblematic of our age, where private convictions are the subject of litigation in public, where comedy itself, long the art of transgression, finds its practitioners hauled before the bench. The outcome of this trial will reverberate. If found guilty, Lynham's defenders will cry foul, that this was never about justice but about silencing. If acquitted, his critics will say it legitimizes abuse under the banner of humour and free speech. There's a deeper irony too. The man who helped pen one of television's most beloved Catholic priests is now cast as a kind of secular heretic. Once celebrated for his sharp wit, Lynham now finds himself in a courtroom the butt of a very serious punchline. Should satire end at the boundary of someone else's identity, or does the democratic principle of open criticism, even when offensive, trump subversive or subjective hurt? These are the questions simmering beneath the surface of this prosecution and of the defence. It's about the nature of humour, and it's about the responsibilities of human beings. It's about kindness, it's about nastiness, and it's about what makes you laugh. And there's a balance between those. And clearly at this moment, the balance is wrong. Graham Lynham's trial is scheduled for September. So it's going to be about a year since the event when it actually goes to trial. Until then, we'll have to ponder the peculiar reality of our times. A man once trusted with national laughter is now asked to account for his public anger. Was it righteous indignation or a vendetta dressed up as conviction? And regardless of the verdict, one truth is now certain. Comedy is no longer a neutral zone, and in the court of public opinion, as in Westminster magistrates, every joke has consequences.